All right, guys. I have got to learn to edit because I think at this point I've done like 3, maybe 4 recordings of this. And we still haven't gotten it right because I have to get everything done in one take. And I want to get this down to like 15 minutes. So let's move on. I wanted today to talk about the Apple Watch. Specifically a long-term review of my Apple Watch. It's a Series 6. My dad recently got one, and it kind of reminded me, oh, I should probably talk about this, my experience with it. Right off the bat, it has been fantastic, and I would recommend that if you're going to get one, get the SE and get the cellular version. That's the long and short of it. If you want to know more, then stick around. So I love my watch. I'm a fan of small phones because I want to be mobile, and phone is not my computing device. I have plenty of those. So I always preferred the small phones that you could just easily slip and slide with. Here's my phone when I got the watch is the iPhone SE, the original SE, not the new SE. The original SE was the size of like the 4 or 5 or something like that. That size, right? It fits in your hand. This size, guys. Remember this, where you could touch the whole screen with just your thumb without having to strain? Yeah. I've since got a bigger phone, but it's because I have the hypermobile option in this. And for other reasons, which I won't go into. But I wanted a camera, a better camera too, because I like cameras. I'm going off. All right, we're already getting off the rails. So I love the watch. One of the things that got me to not get the SE and get the Series 6 was to get the EKG, the extra bio data, the EKG and the O2 stat, and always on display, because everybody was talking about you need the always on display or something like that. And it was apparently a big deal for everybody. Well, I'm here to so here's the bad part. It's not bad. Yeah. DKG, it's neat. It's not really all that useful. I wouldn't think, because you have to manually do it's not doing an EKG in the background. You have to manually do a little process and check it, and it's like a whole thing. The O2 thing, again, interesting data, not really useful. The regular one already does heart rate, which is what you want for like exercising or whatever, and I think it can do VO2 max from that or something. I can't remember, but I think if there's one thing that I would like the Apple Watch to lean into is more health data, pulling in health stats and stuff like that. So I wear this all day. And I pretty much only take it out to take a shower, which, like my evening routine, cleaning up in the evening. I'll take this walk, put it on the charger, and that's when it will be charged for the day. So it goes easily throughout the day. And then I sleep, and it gets my sleep data too. So I can make able to track sleeping. And having the health data, especially like heart rate and stuff like that, I'm able to tell like if I'm overtraining or something, like my heart rate will be elevated. My resting heart rate or my sleeping heart rate will be elevated, and I can tell that, okay, you're overtraining. Now, I'm not like a super athlete. This is why I have to keep an eye on overtraining, is because I do CrossFit 3 times a week. I run every day 1 to 3 miles, and I hike whenever I can. I go backpacking whenever I can. So but I'm not any good. That's the thing. So I'm constantly like at risk of overtraining myself, and that's one of the ways I can get my first alert is I'll get like an alert like, oh, your resting heart rate is elevated, and then I know, okay, well, I must be overtraining because I am not in tune with my body. Me and my body are two separate entities, and we don't get along. So so I have to slow down and let it catch up every now and then. And I love that, having the health data, and I really wish they would lean more into that into the future. But right now I don't think the extra features, the extra health features or whatever that you got, unless they add some like extra stuff on to what this was, then you're probably better off saving. It's like half the cost for an SE. So I would get the SE if that was your determining factor, was the extra health data. It's neat. You think it'll be useful. You might think it'll be useful. It's not useful unless you absolutely know that you have to be able to take an EKG every day or something, you know. Another thing, I would recommend that you get the cellular version. I don't really see much of a benefit of getting an Apple Watch if you're not getting the cellular version. It does mean that you have to pay an extra bit on your cellular plan to keep the line, because this is an actual phone line on here. It could be mapped to all of these phones. This phone, this is my old phone, but it still rings to my old one, and what, you know, you can have all the this has its own phone number, but it's also mapped to my phone number, and so the same thing with my iPad. They all ring together to the same my phone number that everybody knows and uses. So it's I know it sounds complicated, but it's not. They set it all up for you. It's magic. But yeah, it is fantastic being able to just go out and about. If you're just going to make a quick run to Walmart, you don't even got to take your phone. You even got to take your wallet. This is, you know, I mean, maybe take your ID, you know, and that's it. Like if you're driving, you got to take your driver's license maybe, but you don't even have to take your wallet because you got your Apple Pay here. Well, if you go to Walmart, you still need to take your wallet because Walmart doesn't take the near field thing that lets you check out really quickly. They make you use their Walmart app. It's so dumb. They're like the biggest vendor that they're the only place that gives me any trouble nowadays. Near about every place I go down to the Dollar General right up the street here, and all I gotta take is this, and I can check out with this. It's super nice. You just put it up to the little thing and you double click, and it pays with the card that you said. You can put all your cards and you can change which card it's going to use and stuff. And it's all, you learn how to do it. It's like it's not hard, but it's super convenient once you got it set up, and I love that. I love being able to go out for a run, and I've just got my ear pods and my watch, and that's it. You know, it works flawlessly. But yeah, and you know, I can listen to Spotify. You can load up music actually on here if you wanted to go wireless or whatever. Or you could just, like I said, use the cellular data. I would not get it without cellular data. I don't see really the thing. You would only be getting it for like notifications on your arm, which, to be fair, having the notifications show up on your arm is super convenient. To having to pull out pick up your phone and see what's ringing, you just flick your wrist over and you can see it. It's super convenient. You can dismiss it, and sometimes you can like respond to a text really quickly. It's so nice. You Dick Tracy with this thing. It is amazing. Like, you could text, click to text somebody, and you can call people and just talk to them. To text, you just dictate. That's all. You can write out if you wanted to, but you just dictate, and it works most of the time. don't try to do any like initialisms or something like that, abbreviations or nothing like that. Just say the words. But it gets it most of the time, and it's good enough to get by with. You can always call somebody. You can get the weather. I ride a motorcycle, so I'm always have the weather report. All the widgets, you can just put the exact widgets that you want on it. It's so great. So convenient having that up on your wrist. I think another reason why people might want the upper version instead of the SE is for the always on display. You don't want the always on display. I know people complained about it, and I was like, well, it seems like it's important. It's not important. I'm like, you don't want the always on display because you want the battery life. If you had the display always on, you're going to get half the battery life. It is about the time that I would be charging mine up, and I have 45%. This is a 2-year-old battery at this point that gets used every single day, drained down every single day, and it's at 45%. And it's me using it. I've been out and about today, and it's still at 45%. So, if you are having battery issues, I saw some people whenever I was doing I saw some people were doing reviews when I was looking into it, first looking into it, and people complaining about battery life, and I was like, well, you gotta be going out of range. That's the only time I've consistently had battery issues, is if I'm going out of range of sour time. But the same thing is true of your camera, of your phone. Your phone just has more battery. So if you have weak cell signal or whatever, wherever you're commonly at, you're going to have battery issues. If you've got the display on all the time, if you're chatty Cathy and you're constantly on the phone broadcasting with the back and forth to the cell tower, just chewing your battery up, yeah, you're going to burn it through there. But just like a text message or something, no, that's nothing. Getting the weather report, that's nothing. So the battery life is a non-issue. I saw people complaining about it, and it is absolutely a non-issue if you are not an absolute idiot about using your phone. If you're chatty Cathy, this is not the device for you. You cannot go. I could lose my phone. It could be, I don't know, run over by a car, and I don't have the money to replace the phone immediately. I would be able to get by how long I need to get by without a phone until I get this, while I have this on me, because this is a phone substitute. If you know somebody who all they use is a flip phone, they don't have a smartphone, and they get by, you can get by with this as well. It's just as good. It's better. It's smaller. It's a tiny smartphone. So you're not going to be browsing the web. You're not going to be, on Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or nothing like that. But it's fantastic. I love it. But it's not a phone. Don't get me wrong. It's not a big display phone. Like even this thing has issues with the web nowadays. It's not designed for devices this small anymore. Now that all the phones are huge. So that was one of the things why I went with a larger phone this time around. I got tired of dealing with apps and websites being broken basically, but on the device that small. So you're not going to get don't expect miracles with the phone, but you can, like, somebody sends a picture, you can see the picture. If you see a video, somebody sends a video, you can watch the video. So you won't be able to take a video or a picture, but you could see what somebody's sending you. Let me check my time here. I'm trying not to go too long. Okay, so we got 14 minutes. Okay, so cell phone always on display. There was something else I wanted to cover. Maybe if I took notes. Yeah. Those are the big things that I think really matter. Like I said, I love it. If I had to do it again with the current feature of, like, if I had to replace this like immediately, and I would get an SE. because all I would want was the heart rate tracking. I don't need the O2 sat or the EKG feature, and I don't need always on display. Like I said, I disable mine, and it's not an issue. But this is fantastic. Day to day, it's so much easier. Like if I need to take a note or set a reminder or something, I can either just click and have Siri do it for me, or I can click on the little note thing and then I just dictate like the reminder that I want, and then it's done. It's out of my head. I don't have to remember it anymore. It's in here. It's on my phone, and I have a whole system for what happens once it's something's on my phone. Like I go through it through the week and I'm like, okay, well, here's all the things I need to take care of. And then that gets, put on a schedule or something, or thrown away, or, whatever, pick up the milk and write it off on my grocery list or whatever. It's super convenient. Like I said, you always have, it's like, having a little supercomputer on your wrist. You feel like, I don't know if you guys remember Dick Tracy or whatever, but that's what you feel like. I remember I had like a toy Dick Tracy when the movie came out. What was it? The late 80s, early 90s. I had like a little Dick Tracy phone, and I love that thing. And I love the movie. I haven't seen the movie in years. I bet you it's terrible if I looked at it again, but it's terrible. But how's it holding? Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, it's Dick Tracy and all, but how's it holding up? How's it holding up physically? Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to see with this light, but I have been hiking and doing CrossFit. And if you don't know what CrossFit is, like circuit training, look it up. Just do a video of CrossFit and you'll see it's nonsense. It's crazy. But we do CrossFit, and I don't know, you can't see it, but the screen is absolutely pristine. There's no protector on here or nothing. This thing, and there's been some times I've hit this thing, either hit my arm and hit it, and I'm like, oh, that had to do something, and it didn't do anything. It's like really, really tough. Whatever they make this front lens out of is amazingly tough. Now I can't say the same about this little crown here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's a little nub kind of dug into it, and then some scrapes dug in. It's supposed to be all black. If you see little silver streaks and dots and stuff like that, that's not like lint or anything. That's actual dings and stuff they're kind of dug in. That's aluminum on that little crown roller thingy. And it's it. So that's the only like really visible damage. I'm using actually these aren't even the originals. I had lost the originals. I went and so you get these rubber things whenever you first get the watch. Maybe these aren't the original. It doesn't matter. But these, it comes with these. I think you can order it with different ones or something, but I got the ones with the rubber ones because I knew I would be working out with it, and I thought maybe rubber would be more durable. And I got this, and then I ended up getting like the standard like little mesh link ones, and then like the big chunky chain link ones, and eventually I just came back to the rubber. The rubbers, there's all sorts of different ones. What I would say is go on Amazon. Don't look at the Apple ones. Apple ones are just ridiculously overpriced. Go on Amazon and just have your pick of the litter there. As far as what, there are tons and tons of styles that you can get for these. They're ubiquitous, but there are varying qualities. I had like 2 of them break on me along the way. The knockoff ones, the off-brand ones. This Apple thing, the Apple ones have never broken on me, of course. But so yeah, I think we're like 16, 17 minutes or 20 minutes in. Yeah, we're going at 20 minutes in. But yeah, love the watch. Would buy it again, and yeah. So that's my thoughts on the Apple, technically the Series 6, but what I think about the Apple Watch in general. They're amazing products, especially if you're in the Apple ecosystem. If probably wouldn't get one if I didn't have iPhone and iPad and whatnot, because they work together all so seamlessly together. Like I have the iPods or earpods or whatever you call them. They all work together from one device, and I go to one device and the AirPods work there, and it's just everything just works together so nicely, and that's what I need. Like I have enough complication here that I want my like everyday devices to just work, and they do for the most part. And but yeah, I love it. Would recommend them, particularly the SE and the cellular. If you're thinking about getting one, get the SE, get the cellular, and I think you'll be very happy. Yeah, and I guess that's it. And I will catch you guys next time. So yeah, I forgot one thing, and I am not doing all of that over again just to get this last little bit in here. But there's one major kind of gotcha caveat or something to getting in a watch is the Apple the software ecosystem is not all hunky dory. This has been the most frustrating aspect of it. Is a lot of times the apps. So a lot of times you might have apps that are on your phone. Those apps will have like companion apps that actually work with the watch, and I've had a lot of flaky apps. Mostly, to be fair, when I say a lot, I mean a lot of experience with flaky apps, and it's probably mostly a handful of apps that I use a lot that are flaky, and most of them work fine. So like there's a Microsoft Reminders app or something, and it works all the time. But the one I always think of is the Spotify app because it gives me no end of troubles. So that's something that you run into is you may get you may see that some app or whatever, one of your favorite apps supports the watch, and you get excited and I'm like, oh okay, yeah, I'm going to be able to do all this cool stuff on my watch or whatever. But a lot of times it's very minimal. It's just, they're just showing you notifications or something silly or something like that. Like I got a hiking app. It's called All Trails, and you could like start and stop when you're recording your trail or whatever as you walk it. You could start and stop so that you could keep your pace or what. It doesn't matter. It was buggy as all hell, and like half the time it wouldn't connect to the app, even the phone's right there, and it was nonsense. And Spotify, the thing I use it nearly every day because I go out to run nearly every day and I listen to my music on Spotify, and there's always a little song and dance I have to do to I put on my earpods, and then is it going to recognize that the earpods need to connect to Spotify on my watch, and then I have to press it, and then it doesn't recognize it, and then I got to disable Wi-Fi so that it won't try to connect to my phone, and it'll use the cell. It won't try to connect to my Wi-Fi. It'll try to connect to cell, and so it'll be disconnected from my phone, and it's like a whole thing. And you like press it and it doesn't work. Press it doesn't work, and you go walk around the church a couple times and then press it. No, finally decides to start freaking working, and it's so damn buggy. Honestly, most of this is me bitching about the Spotify app, but like I said, I had the All Trails thing mess with me, and there's been some other ones that. And that's another thing is like, even though a lot of times the app will say that it has Apple Watch support, or it's minimal, very, very minimal. The things that you often want to do on your watch that you think would make sense often don't work for whatever reason. Companies have not embraced the Apple Watch, act like it's like a horrible burden to make a watch app or something. It's ridiculous. There's tools for that. But apparently you need Apple Watch developers. You need a Apple phone developers. You need a Mac developer. I'm like, it's a developer. Developers are developers. They can build for anything if you get the right developers. So, but apparently not. This is me ranting. I'm a developer, by the way, so this is me ranting at the industry. But ranting at my fellow industry veterans for doing such a shitty job with the Apple Watch apps. Breathe fresh air, Corey. So, yes, the app ecosystem is pretty flaky, even from big name developers. It's, you're used to it now. The iPhone and iPad ecosystems are mature now, that you're used to. Like, if there's a flaky app, it's a flaky company that's behind it usually. But now even like big name companies, Spotify, can't even get their freaking app to work right, even though it's a freaking MP3 app. I'm like, what? Like, it's downloaded. It's not even like it's like streaming or anything. You can stream, but I have like the downloaded on my phone and presumably downloaded on to my watch, and it still can't figure it out. It can't play local songs to the earpods that are connected to it. Spotify, if you can hear me, fix your shit. It's driving me nuts. It's not even a new problem. It's going on for the last year. Is 2 years maybe. I'm sorry, guys. That's the last little caveat that I wanted to mention, and I will let you go. 25 minutes in. Let's skedaddle. Catch you guys later.